Hello everybody, this video is entitled MSTR Stock Best Week Ever for Stretch. Yes, I see a bunch of live streams on X celebrating this very fact, so I have to make my own celebratory video about the epic success of Stretch. So, as a reminder, Stretch of course is the iPhone moment for strategy. It is the product to rule them all. It is the main business of Sailor and strategy. It is the invention of digital credit, the flood of digital credit in the financial system, and this is for the first time ever that we've actually had a full week of just relentless ATM. Aside from a few minutes on Tuesday morning, the stock traded at $100 or above, sometimes by pennies, sometimes by nickels, sometimes by dimes, above 100, and we ATM'd very hard. Did Sailor create the ultimate flight to safety instrument? Well, sure feels like it, because the market, I'll get to that in a second, but the market they called it the worst market in nearly a year, right? Well, guess what? We had the worst day in the history of the stock market in April of 2025. So if we didn't have April 2025, I wonder if this week would have been the worst week in maybe 30 years, something like that, right? But unfortunately, 2025 marks having the week where we had the worst week in the history of the entire stock market since the 1700s, so they can't title that anymore. It was a really awful week in the market, a really bad week, but it was a great week for MSTR, and it was especially a great week for Stretch. Stretch behaved like flight to safety, which is why it feels really bad to be so happy about that while everything else is dumping. Not this one. Look at how much Bitcoin may have been bought. Of course, Stretch.live, bookmark it. I recommend this website. This website I like a lot. 4,336 Bitcoin is, give or take 5%, because they've been a little off in the past. That's roughly $300 million worth of Bitcoin that Sailor likely bought thanks to the Stretch ATM. Annualize that. That's insane. If you annualize that, that's insane. To me, MSTR stock is so undervalued. This product, Stretch, is taking the world by storm. Their corporate event last week, Bitcoin for Corporation, was successful. My guess is that they convinced quite a few people to buy it, and also the fact that they raised the yield by 25 basis points probably helped. They found the sweet spot. 11.5% is the sweet spot. Also remember, are we in for a $1 billion buy on Monday? Will we get a $1 billion buy on Monday? Because if you follow this channel, you know that whenever he uses the Stretch ATM, he uses the common ATM by a greater factor. So let's say he come on ATM 2.5 times what Stretch ATMs did. That means we could get a $1 billion buy. Don't forget, there are the other preferreds as well. There's preferreds that I think he doesn't want to sell anymore, like Strike, for example. I think that preferred should be shelved. I don't think he's gonna, because that preferred is too good. The other preferreds, maybe he will sell them a little bit, but clearly he's only on Stretch. So I don't know if he used the other preferreds or not. But if you look at today's performance, on a day where Bitcoin is down 4%, 4.5%, we are not supposed to be down 4.5%. We should have been down like 7% today, not 4%. So this is an epic outperformance today on a particularly bad day for the markets overall today, right? Oil broke $90 a barrel. Think about that, right? Really bad news in the macro, and strategy is outperforming Bitcoin compared to what it should do 1.5x. And if you look at the performance, though, over the entire week, we actually can see the ATM. There was ATMing when you look at that, because we should have been 1.5x, and we pretty much performed in line with Bitcoin, which tells me that the delta between these two performances went to the ATM. I think there was a lot of common ATM, and thanks to Stretch Out Live, it seems obviously like, and of course the behavior, there was a lot of Stretch ATM. So this is a great performance over the week. This is a great performance today. Stretch, of course, is the star of the show, and all of this happened while the headlines on CNBC right now are worst week in nearly a year. Say the headlines. Yeah, worst week in nearly a year. Like I said, all of the headlines are going to be worst week in the year, because you can't have any other headline anymore, because the worst week in the history of the stock market was April 2nd, 2025. So, but that's a really bad headline. And this is a really good performance for strategy. So, best week ever for Stretch? Oh, yes. And I'm quite happy about it. So anyways, this was not investment advice. This is not financial advice. This is only entertainment. I'm hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.